Hi guys, good morning. We're going to kick off this morning by playing a game of word association. So if you've not played this game before, I'm going to say a word and you have to say the first word that comes into your head that you associate with that word. Very quick. So I say cake, what would your word be? Put it in the comments. If I said house, what would your word be? Put it in the comments. If I said Christian or Jesus or church, what would your word or a couple of words be that you would immediately associate that with? The first things that come to your head. And then let's use our imagination. What would be the words of your next door neighbour or your friends or your family? What would be the words of your work colleagues? Someone maybe from a different faith or a different culture, a different background or a different country. What would maybe be the words of somebody that's got a different gender to you or somebody of a different sexuality? What would be those words that they would associate with Jesus, with church, with Christian? Think about that. Quite an interesting thing to think about, and it would be a good experiment maybe out on the street. But today I want us to look briefly at the story of Jesus when he met the Samaritan woman in John chapter 4. So open up your Bible. I'm going to read just a couple verses. But if you've not read this story before, the Samaritan people live in Israel, but they are treated so badly by the Jewish people. They are hated by the Jewish people. They are despised, disliked. They are not included, not given equal opportunity, not given equal treatment, all because of a slight difference in their race. That's it. And the Jewish people despise them. And what Jesus does is he splits from his disciples. They go one way, he goes the other, and he walks through the area of Samaria. He sits down at the well and he has a conversation with a woman. Now, this would be a terrible choice for a religious leader. The way that people would judge him, his reputation would be in tatters. He should not be going into this area. He should not be associating with these people. But he does it because it's Jesus. He sits down with the woman and he says, "Can you help me out? Can you give me a drink from the well?" And in verse 9, she replies, "You are a Jew and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink?" Jesus reaches out to this woman, says, "Can you help me?" And she says, "How? How can me, a Samaritan woman, help you, a Jewish man? I know how your people treat my people. I know how you prejudge us. I know that you don't want to associate. I know that you hate us. How could I do this for you?" And what's Jesus' reply? In verse 10, he says, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water." Jesus says to the woman, if only you had had a true experience of God's love in your life. If only you knew the heart of God, the reality of who God is on the earth, then you would have received blessing. You would have received faith. You would have received love. If only you'd known that. And how would the woman have known that? How do any of us that are different to other people, how do we know the true heart of God? We encounter him, and how do we do that? We encounter him through his followers. I know in my story, the first encounters I had with Jesus were through people that loved him. My first experience of God was shown to me by his disciples, the people who cared for me and looked out for me and acted in the way that God wanted. And that is me, that is you. We are the hands and feet of God on the earth. We are the representatives of Jesus. So when we read the New Testament, when we read the encounters and the stories where Jesus met people and changed their lives, we have to almost play word association with these times. And we have to pull out the characteristics. We have to pull out the heart. We have to recognize it. And we have to act in those ways. So the words that I associate with this short story, unexpected. Jesus does the totally unexpected thing. He walks into this area, he sits down, and he speaks to her woman. It's not what his friends, his followers, the leaders that were out to get him, it's not what they would have expected, but he does it because it is the right thing to do. He is accepting, he speaks to her, and he accepts her for who she is, a human being with intrinsic value. It doesn't matter what she looks like, how she dresses. It doesn't matter what she does or doesn't believe in. It doesn't matter her views, her politics. It doesn't matter the choices, the sin in her life, or the things that she's done that you could look at. He accepts her. And he is welcoming. He says, you are welcome to come and have a true experience of God. You are welcome into the family. This is it. So those are 3 things that I pull out of that story, and those are 3 ways that I want to live as a Christian. I want to be unexpected. I want to be accepting, and I want to be welcoming to others. And I want to lead them to a true encounter of God that is open, that is caring, that loves us for who we are. Did Jesus need her to be all sorted out before she could encounter him? Did he need her to overcome the challenges in her life or the mistakes or decisions that she'd made? No. Did he challenge her behaviour and say, right, as soon as you get this sorted, you can become a follower. As soon as you do this, you can have an encounter with God? No. He says to her, this is who God is. Do you want to join us? And to fast forward the story, many, many Samaritan people believe after the encounter that she has with him. So go away, John chapter 4, read this through and pick out some words, pick out some ways that you decide to live as a Christian. Mine is going to be unexpected, accepting and welcoming of others. Thank you guys for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take care.